He left without a word. My name is Chloe. I am 26 years old. I lived with David. We lived in a nice apartment. We shared everything. Our life felt very stable. David was my boyfriend. We were together for 3 years. We planned our future together. We talked about buying a house. We talked about getting a dog. Everything seemed perfect on Tuesday night. We had dinner together. We talked about our week. We watched a silly movie on the sofa. David held my hand. He kissed me before we went to sleep. I felt very safe next to him. I closed my eyes and fell asleep instantly. Before we begin, know that your likes and comments help these stories continue. Wednesday morning was different. The alarm clock woke me up. It was 7 o'clock. I reached my arm across the bed. David was not there. His side of the mattress was cold. I opened my eyes slowly. I thought he was in the kitchen. David often got up early. He liked to make coffee first. I waited a moment. I listened for the sounds of the morning. I did not hear the coffee grinder. I did not hear the kettle whistling. The apartment was extremely quiet. This silence was unusual. I got out of bed. I put on my robe. I walked slowly to the kitchen. The kitchen counter was empty. David's favorite mug was not there. His laptop bag was not by the door. His keys were not in the ceramic dish. I called his name. David, where are you? There was no answer. I checked the bathroom. His razor was gone. His toothbrush was gone. The space where his toiletries used to sit was clean and empty. A cold feeling started in my stomach. It spread through my chest. I rushed back to the bedroom. I opened his side of the closet door. His work suits were gone. His new running shoes were gone. The big suitcase we kept under the bed was gone. It was not a trip. It was not an early start for work. David had packed his bags. David had moved out. I sat down hard on the floor. I felt dizzy. This was impossible. We did not fight. We did not have a loud argument. He did not say goodbye. I checked the kitchen table again. I searched every surface. I looked under the magnets on the fridge. I looked inside his wallet left on the dresser. I looked everywhere for a piece of paper. I needed a note. I needed an explanation. There was nothing. 0 words. I grabbed my phone. I saw no new notifications. I called his cell phone number. It rang once, then went straight to voicemail. I called it again and again. The same result. I called his office. His manager, Mr. Harrison, answered the phone. I asked if David was there. Mr. Harrison said no. He said David did not call in sick. Mr. Harrison sounded confused too. David was a reliable employee. I started shaking. This was not a normal departure. This was abandonment, complete and sudden. I called David's mother. I tried to sound calm. I asked if David was visiting her. She said no. She said she had not heard from him since the weekend. She started to worry too. I called his closest friend, Mark. Mark was shocked. He said he had dinner with David last week. David seemed happy. Mark promised to check David's usual spots in the city. The first day was panic. I walked around the apartment like a ghost. I opened drawers and closed them. I kept checking the front door. I thought maybe he just needed space. Maybe he was angry about something small. But why take his suitcase? Why take his toothbrush? I tried to rationalize his actions. It was impossible to find a logical reason. The silence was deafening. It felt like a loud noise inside my head. I had to contact the police. It was very difficult to talk to them. I felt shame. I felt silly. How do you explain that your boyfriend simply vanished? The officer listened patiently. He asked if David had health issues. No. He asked if we had financial problems. No. He asked if there was another woman. I did not know. I told the police about the missing clothes and the empty closet. They took a report. They said they would start looking. But they emphasized that David was an adult. He had the right to leave if he chose. I looked at David's computer. I checked his email. I checked his browsing history. I found nothing useful. He had deleted his recent searches. He had cleared his history. He was careful. I checked our joint bank account. I saw a large cash withdrawal on Tuesday afternoon, the day before he left. This confirmed my fear. This was planned. He planned his exit while I was sitting next to him on the sofa. The second day, I waited. I kept the TV off. I sat on the sofa waiting for the phone to ring. It did not ring. I looked at the food in the fridge. I saw the leftovers from our Tuesday dinner. It made me feel sick. I threw it away. I threw away the pizza box too. I could not stand the sight of things we shared. The first week was torture. I could not go to work. I called my manager and said I had a family emergency. David was my family. He was gone. I spent hours looking at photos of us. Happy photos, photos from our vacations, photos from last Christmas. How could the man in those pictures do this to me? The pain was a mix of grief and betrayal. I started driving around the city. I went to his old neighborhood. I walked into coffee shops he liked. I showed his picture to the baristas. Have you seen this man? They all said no. I printed flyers. I put his face on telephone poles. I wrote, missing. David, 26, last seen Wednesday morning. The flyers felt desperate. They felt sad. But I needed to do something. I needed action to replace the terrible inactivity of waiting. My friends came over often. They brought casseroles. They tried to distract me. They told me David was a jerk. They said he was weak. I listened to them, but my mind was stuck on one question. Why? Why did he not say a single word? A simple text message would have been less cruel. I am leaving. That would have been enough. But the silence implied something worse. It implied I was not even worthy of a quick goodbye. The second week started. The police called me. They had no leads. They checked hospitals. They checked transportation hubs. Nothing. David was a ghost. I tried to go back to work. It was impossible. I stared at the computer screen. I could not focus. I took another week off. I started cleaning the apartment aggressively. I removed his scent. I washed his side of the sheets. I put away the clothes he left behind. I put them in a large box. I taped the box shut. It was like sealing a grave. I placed the box in the back of the storage closet. I did not want to see it. I did not want to touch it. Every small sound was a jolt. The sound of keys in the hallway. The sound of a car door slamming outside. I always thought it was him coming back. I would rush to the window. It was never David. This cycle of false hope was exhausting. It wore me down completely. I felt drained of energy. I felt drained of emotion. The third week brought anger. Deep, hot anger. I realized he was a coward. He did not have the strength to tell me the truth. He chose the easy way out for himself. He chose the most painful way out for me. I started talking to myself. I rehearsed the confrontation. What would I say if he walked back in? I would scream at him. I would demand an answer. I would ask him if our 3 years meant nothing. I started looking through his social media history again. He had deleted his Facebook profile entirely. His Instagram was gone. He erased his digital footprint. This confirmed the planning. It confirmed the calculated choice. He did not want to be found. He wanted a new life where I did not exist. The 4th week was the hardest. The hope was gone. The anger was fading into a deep, heavy sadness. I realized the police would not find him. I realized his friends would not find him. I realized the flyers were useless. I had to face the worst possibility. I would never know why. The mystery would always be there. The silence was the answer itself. His silence told me everything I needed to know about his character. He was selfish. He was manipulative. He valued his own escape over my peace of mind. I started talking to a therapist. I needed professional help to handle this unique kind of pain. It was not simple heartbreak. It was traumatic abandonment. The therapist said I needed to find my own closure. She said I could not wait for David to provide it. David had given me nothing but absence. I had to accept the profound pain of the unknown. I had to let go of the idea of confrontation. The confrontation I needed was internal. I started making big changes in the apartment. I wanted to reclaim my space. I moved the sofa. I bought a new lamp. I painted the bedroom wall a dark, comforting green color. I took down the large mirror we bought together. I replaced it with a piece of art that I chose alone. Every change was an act of personal freedom. It was an assertion that this was Chloe's home now. I went back to work full-time. I focused completely on my projects. I used work as a distraction. It helped me rebuild my routine. People still asked about David sometimes. I learned to use a simple sentence. He moved away suddenly. I did not owe them the full, embarrassing truth. The truth was mine to manage. I started exercising regularly. I went to the gym 5 days a week. I pushed my body hard. I wanted physical strength to match the mental strength I needed. Every repetition of lifting weights felt like a refusal. A refusal to let his departure crush me. I refused to let his silence define my worth. I began to understand that the pain of the unknown was a permanent scar, But scars fade, and scars show survival. David's choice to leave without a word was an ending for our relationship, but it was also a beginning for me. A beginning where I learned how resilient I truly was. 6 weeks passed. I packed away the last of his cooking spices. I changed the locks on the door. It was a symbolic gesture. I was locking him out of my present and my future. I stopped checking my phone for unknown numbers. I stopped looking at the flyers on the street corners. I realized I did not need his explanation. Even if he came back and told me a sad story, it would not undo the pain he inflicted. His words would not magically heal the betrayal. The action of leaving was the only information I needed. He did not care enough to be honest. I am learning to love my own company again. I cook dinner for one person. I watch the movies I like. I plan a solo trip for the summer. I am building a future that is entirely mine. It is a future without the instability he introduced. I am strong now. I am 26, and I survived the chilling silence. I still think of him sometimes. I wonder if he is happy. I wonder if he regrets the way he left. But those thoughts do not stay long anymore. They are fleeting. They are replaced by thoughts of my own goals, my own projects, my own life. I found the strength in the profound pain of abandonment. I refused to let his cowardice steal my future. I decided that my story is not about the man who left without a word. My story is about the woman who stood up after he left, dusted herself off, and started building something beautiful and strong from the ruins. I am Chloe. I am moving forward, one steady, quiet step at a time. I am defined by my refusal to quit. Support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing for more emotional stories.